Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to another Friday night live stream of the Georgia Shooting Connection. And we got four Georgia boys on here tonight. And we got somebody else that just showed up who's not from Georgia and is also not a boy.
Good evening, guys.
You got here just in time. So, Chico, you want to light this thing up?
I definitely can. Let me pull up. It should have already been up. Oh, it is up. I see 20 of y'all out there. So thanks everyone for joining for another Friday night Georgia Shooting Connection. We've got some topics on hand. And if you ask questions in the side chat, they can probably be answered. And if you have any input, y'all can put in but you gotta. So with the side chat too, sometimes if y'all want something to stand out, as Uncle Jim knows, throw the hammers and it'll stand out, and we'll able to see those questions or suggestions easily. Sharinda, how you been doing? And thanks for joining us.
Oh man, I'm tired and doing good and feeling a little older.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
I was going to ask if we were going to sing it.
Well, y'all could jump on in, but y'all leaving me out on a limb. You ready? Happy birthday, dear Sharinda. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday.
I'm practicing my TikTok, my lip singing.
We was waiting on Russ to kick in with some harmony there, but yeah.
The problem is when we all start singing at the same time, you can't hear any of us. So
that's a good thing, Kyle.
I understand.
Okay, so Russ, how you been, brother?
I think he's froze.
Another long week. Shouldn't be. Am I froze?
Not
no,
now.
You good. You good.
Okay. The old computer. Yeah, it's like everybody else. It's been a long week.
You're not much of an elaborator, are you? No, he's not, I guess.
Well, there you go.
And you're not.
Hey, Ocean. Glad you're here, brother. K24. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Brother Kyle, what about you? How you been doing, man?
I'm doing great. Back feeling a lot better. Long week at work, but it was okay. Got a special little project coming up that I want you guys to know about, and that's everybody in the side chat too. Got a good friend of mine that's turning 90 years old on Thursday, I think it's the 17th. And I got his wife to send me a bunch of pictures. He's an old Korean War pilot vet. He was involved in all kinds of training, and he got in the military right after Pearl Harbor. They made him be a truck driver and and all that stuff. But a hell of a guy. Just the kind of man you want to meet. And me and my buddy Mike are going to get together and make a video on how we met him and what he means to us and all that stuff. I'm going to put a bunch of pictures in there. I want you guys to go down in the comments and leave some comments and everything. And I'm going to send the video link to him and his wife so they can watch it, because they're not going to have a birthday party or anything like that for him, which I hate. But I figured that could be like my gift to him, and just say thank you for being a friend, But I'd like I'll send a link. We'll do a live stream or something, and I'll post a link there, and anybody that wants to can just pop in and say hello or whatever.
the dog's barking right outside the window, so I was trying to keep my microphone muted as much as I can. I've been having some serious microphone issues. Y'all know last week it took a crap on me, and then this week we're trying to get on and it won't work. So that's why we're a little late. We're having microphone issues, and I went and got me another like a webcam and a microphone. But when that microphone goes out on your system, they don't know microphone work. It's kind of crazy. So I was about to start saying hey to some folks out in the side chat, but if I do, we'll discover that Mr. Pollard is out there and he'll start making fun of me for not reading as good as Chico does. But yeah. So let me show y'all something I did reloading wise this week, and y'all can jump in with, and it kind of might lead to a topic that we had discussed. But Russ, check these out, man.
Blow yourself up, sir.
There you go.
I'll see if I can do that without leaving the whole shooting match. Those are my first rounds of 6.5 Creedmoor with CCI primers, large rifle primers. And y'all don't want to see no more of that. So I used these bullets, Hornady 120 grain ELD match. I used some brass that OCD sent me and some that I got out of my first box. And I used Shooter's World Precision Rifle for my first loads. And
let me know how that works for you.
this is supposed to be extremely comparable to Varget. As a matter of fact, they compare themselves to Varget. On the bottle, it says better temperature, performance, accuracy, efficiency, and burn speed compared to Varget. And they have load data for the Hornady 123 hollow point. HPST. Hollow point something.
Straight tail.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
But I used that data, went down just a little bit, although I could have went up a little bit with it being a lighter bullet.
Well, just need to get to the range and see what seems to be working, and then you can play around with that one.
When you test them out.
I found the unicorn locally.
Get out of town. Y'all see that?
Bragger.
Was it excessively valuable?
No, it really was not. I only gave $29 a pound, and I bought all four that he had.
Wow. Oh, so you're the horse bass. I mean, guy.
I am not. I have 3 rifles to shoot that.
That was intentional, folks.
Big Al, I intend to try some of those 140 and the 143s. There's Eagle Eye Shooting. What's up, brother?
Yep.
Yeah, and MCK's got some of that for me if I can ever get to Indiana and get it. Because you can't ship the stuff.
Legally.
As we found out the hard way. But
another one I'm gonna try is that one right there. They say it was specifically designed for the Creedmoor family of cartridges. Vita Vuri N555.
Okay.
They are proud of it. I will tell you, they are very proud of it.
Yep. What, $48 a pound?
No, 43, I think, is what I wound up giving 40. But yeah, whew, that made me cringe.
I know what's up there. I've got a couple of bottles of 4350. I tried it in a couple of things and it didn't work the way I wanted it to. So
I got a 6mm Remington that absolutely loves it.
Hang on, let me let the dog in.
Well, I can't wait, Mark. We're going to have some fun. There's Eagle Eye. What's up, my brother? What did he say? 40.8. I think I stopped at 40 with these. But that's a 120 grain bullet, so it's probably going to be screaming.
Yeah.
So, Mark, just so you know, man, I'm off 2 weeks at Christmas. That whole, I got a sneaking suspicion, y'all. Let me check something out right here. Yes, Christmas Day is a Friday night. Are we going to have a live stream on Christmas night?
My family's Christmas plans have been kaputted. My brother-in-law's come down with the coof. He's totally fine, no symptoms or whatever, but half of his plant is shut down. So, and of course, my mom and dad are staying away from that with a 10-foot pole. Actually, it's about a 45-mile pole, but yeah. So, I mean, we canceled Thanksgiving just for the safety factor of it for our parents. But now that my brother-in-law's got it, nobody wants to be around anybody. So I ain't doing nothing.
I have no clue what my family is doing. This is our first year. We're usually at the in-laws' house. This will be our first year not knowing what to do for Christmas because she passed away in October from COVID. So
I'm sorry.
Y'all say bye to Dave. Thorzak's don't work too hard, brother.
See you, Dave. Thanks for stopping by, brother.
You been missed, Chico, my brother. So, Russ talked me out of a few pounds of IMR H4350 there. Thanks, buddy. Anyway, we've got quite a few new gun owners and new reloaders out there, so I thought we might want to talk about some of the in and outs of bottleneck cartridges if y'all want to. If not, we can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Big E asked me how that new scope was doing. I got when I was sighting it in, I had 2 rounds touching each other at 100 yards with factory rounds. So I think it's going to be great.
Did you see that? A $300 brick of primers?
I did.
I would.
I'd take the box apart and dump them on the floor and tell them to pick them up and walk out the store. That's just me, though.
Man, and I've been in the argument about supply and demand, but if my thought is if these companies see that we're paying that privately, like they're going to jack the prices up, and that's not going to do anything but hurt us in the long run.
Well, the thing is, the manufacturer is not jacking the prices up. It's the end seller that's doing it because we keep buying it.
There's one, I'm not going to name their name, but their website constantly says that they do not have any primers in stock. But you can look them up on a well-known auction site, and they've got them $300 a brick.
That's ridiculous.
And I used to order from this company about once every other month, and they will never get another dime from me.
Well, if they're price gouging that bad, who is it?
Probably cheaper than dirt.
No, it's not. It's Everglades.
Wow.
I'll say it. It's Everglades.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was in a private chat. I was like, who is it?
I mean,
Unfortunately,
if they're treating their customers that bad, the word needs to get out.
I wish they'd shut their door. I wish they'd get so bad for them they'd shut their doors. That's ridiculous.
Okay, it just dawned on me that Chico and Russ may not have met.
no, Jamie. I put that in the side chat because I wanted to know who he was talking about.
Oh,
About the
but Russ is a Georgia guy. He lives. Tell him about your channel, Russ, and what you was telling us earlier.
Chico and I've talked on one of the messengers numerous times.
I think I was.
We know it.
I probably was one of the first 5 or maybe 10 or less subscribers.
Yeah,
Which I'm not even sure how many subscribers you got now. Have now, rather.
I don't even know. I haven't checked it in a while.
I just forgive me for not being a more cordial host. Okay.
No, Jamie, you're fine. No problem. Because see, a lot of people who don't know Russ, his channel name is not this.
No, it's Rabbit Hole Reloading.
Right.
I've got to do something with
Oh.
it. Yeah.
And Mr. Hester is correct. Cheaper than dirt has been, pardon my French, but raping everybody for years now. You can buy 500 rounds of 223 for $280, but it's going to cost you $350 to get it shipped. That's how they started their racket.
Yep.
Now they just come out and say it. Yeah, we're going to screw you. It's $850. And then you can pay shipping. Shipping's only $32.
Big E, let me tell you, brother. The most I've ever spent on a scope before I bought this scope that I did the video on was about $140, and those worked great for what I needed to do, and that was pretty much daytime deer hunting. So, that worked great for that. Do what?
I said he's going to nighttime deer hunting now.
No,
We call that
no,
mobile. Here
no.
in Georgia, we call that mobile managing.
No,
That's
what
right.
we call that is spotlighting, and that's illegal. And I don't do
It is. It is.
So,
No.
but what I was referring to is that those first light, I had to wait till it got good and light before my scopes would work. But this scope's got a 34 millimeter tube. The glass is fabulous. It took me like, the last 3 shots were a 3-shot group at 100 yards. 2 of those were touching, and one of them was a hiccup because I messed up. But if I do my job, that scope and that rifle will. Of course, I'm still breaking that barrel in. I've only got 10 shots through the barrel, so yeah, it's I had it completely sighted in about 6 or 7 shots, and so I've been wasting a lot of time with these bargain scopes. Well, I wish you the best, Big E. Mine took 10 weeks. And then a guy commented on one of my comments that his took 13 weeks. But for that scope, for that price, Wait time of 10 weeks ain't no big hairy deal.
If it's good quality, it's worth waiting on.
Yeah, I can't wait for y'all to see it and shoot through it. And I can't wait to get a good load worked up for it so we can really have some fun. There's Broke Loader. Hey everybody. Big Al, I got a video up on it. It's the Arkin Optics SH4 Gen 2 6 through 24 by 50.
Yeah. I'm about to say, I thought you said it was a 50. It was a big body, big objective scope.
Well, thanks, Uncle John. That's nice of you to say.
Are you gonna swap it around or dedicate it to just one?
That's going to stay on that rifle, but that rifle has pretty much got one purpose too. That's for killing deer and long range shooting. Are you kidding me?
I was just responding, Curtis. I didn't, but I did receive a nice mail call from Eddie B, our other Georgia brother. Which it was like, I'm telling you, it was well over 2 weeks ago. That those 2 weeks we had that rain was about. I think that was before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and I didn't want to post a package because United States Postal Service probably when they set it on my doorstep, the rain got to it, but he had it wrapped up good. And so with my Rossi, I'll tell him my 45 Colt, I'm having to break it back down and slick up something because it's rough on the brass. It is eating the brass. It's chewing it up. Not chewing it up. It's marring it up pretty good. So I've got some. I think they said the guys. I may have to smooth it. One of them may have a burr on it. The guy I got it from, he was rough with it, like die grinder rough. So,
oh Lord.
Yeah, he cut off the safe. He cut off the lawyer switch, which I don't care, But he was rough with it. Didn't polish it up or anything after he hit it with the die grinder. So ain't no telling what else he did to it. So, but it's marring the brass up, and I will very soon be loading that cartridge up and trying it out.
You did cast you a bunch of them lightweight bullets while you had that mold, right?
Yeah, I've got at least a couple hundred of them.
Okay.
And Pat, let me tell you, Russ did, and he does. He's just he'll probably have some more up. You know how we critique ourselves with our uploads, and you're like, no man, I could have did better, and you erase it. So the videos he had up was like I said, they were excellent videos with a lot of information that me, as I'm really not an advanced, or I'm not that well versed in rifle reloading, and he is. So I'm sure he'll put some up. But I think when I subscribed, he probably had 7 subscribers when I subscribed to him. But yeah, so Jamie, we are on. What are we on?
Instagram.
Yes, we are on Instagram.
Oh,
I was talking about the topic though. It's been a long week, ain't it?
Thank you, Jamie. I needed that.
I get off a good one every once in a while.
Let's see. No, but I think we were going to talk about. You remember?
Bottleneck rifle reloading.
Yes, that's it.
Only if y'all want to. I don't want to bore y'all. Most of the guys out there know more about that than I do. But
no, we still can hit some key points and some of the critical steps, like lubing and sizing, and first and foremost inspection, because my first time ever, not my first time, but last time I went to a range was about a week ago. I was shooting some loads of mine. I think I had a weak piece of brass. It wasn't weak when I loaded it, but after I shot it. No, so let me tell you what I do when I like my pistol rounds. I mark them, especially if I'm doing load development, because I want to pick up that brass and examine the primers. And so I might mark one load with a red Sharpie, one load with a blue Sharpie, green, so on and so forth. And when I picked up one of my pieces of brass, it had a crack. The case split. Well, yeah, it had a crack in it. So I knew it wasn't a hot round. Like I said, the brass could have been previously fired from somebody, even the manufacturer loaded it kind of hot. Some manufacturers do that.
Yeah. Actually, Tack, who's in the side chat with AOK Foraging and Adventures, she was with me, and we were shooting when I had a case, not a case neck split, but a case body split on me in my 308, and mine were loaded real hot. We got off a few rounds, and then I think I was shooting it, and that thing went off, and luckily I've got a well enough made firearm that it didn't do anything terrible. It's just sprayed a little powder back on me, and she looked at me and goes, "Was that normal?" I said, "No." And we had to take it back down to the cabin and beat the bolt out of it. And I'm like, yeah, I think we're done with this till I can get it home and really inspect it and see if anything happened. But it split right down the side of it. I had about 7 reloads on that brass, so I think I'm going to finally stop at 5. Oh, there's a good question right there. Rush,
That is.
I used to use the various different lubes, commercial available lubes, and I'm a wholehearted believer in the lanolin alcohol mixture, 12 parts alcohol to 1 part liquid lanolin. And it's it runs your brass through your dyes like butter. You can't get the alcohol, the red bottle of Prestone Heat, the fuel additive, Prestone Heat. It's alcohol. It's
you can.
alcohol.
I found a 6-pack of quart bottles of 99% alcohol on Amazon because that heat's expensive. Because what it's designed for. But you can I found a 6-pack of 99% alcohol on Amazon and a 4-pack of, I think, quart bottles of lanolin, and it was cheap too. And me and a buddy of mine went in and split it. So he's got 3 bottles of alcohol and 2 bottles of lanolin, and I've got the same. So and that makes a lot of case lube. The secret to it is take a Ziploc bag, put your brass in there, give it a couple of squirts from a spray bottle, not too much. Shake it around, use your hands, roll it around, all that stuff. Make sure it is. Then open the Ziploc bag up, sit it down on the counter, and go watch TV.
Yeah.
When you finally remember that you've got it sitting on the counter, the alcohol has evaporated, and you got a nice thin coat of really good lube on your brass. And the only time I've had a stuck case is when I forgot. I was doing something. I said, well, no, I need to bump that shoulder back again. I stuck it back up in there and went, oh, no. It doesn't goop up your dyes. If I was using some of that other stuff, there might have been enough lube left in the dye where it would have come back out. But the ratio is 12 parts alcohol to 1 part lanolin. And it's not exact. You can play around. I fill the bottle. I use it's an old frog lube bottle. I fill it up to about 3/4. I put lanolin in there, shake it, lanolin in there and shake it. lanolin in there and shake it. When I start seeing lanolin, excuse me, settle on the bottom, we're good. And just shake it up before you use it and spray it on there.
Yeah. I'm sure you don't have a problem with the Redding Imperial Sizing Wax, but I saw some of that for sale on Amazon today, and I was shocked. I got my lanolin mix, and let me get the stuff to show Thack. Y'all hold 1 second.
Please hold for further information. Please enjoy the hold music while you
Yeah.
I just take my brass that I'm prepping. I got the little cheap Dollar Tree bin, and I can dump 200 in here, 223 cases, probably 150 or so 308 cases. And I just take my lanolin and just spritz all over the top and shake the crap out of it. When I get the case necks, they'll self-align where they're face up. I spray down into the case necks because you want that lube in the neck so it don't drag over the expander ball.
That's important. Inside, I would guess that you're dreaming. You're driving, I'm sorry.
For anybody who's interested in making their lube, okay, I was talking about a 6-pack. I'm not seeing that 6-pack, but I am seeing a 4-pack of quart bottles of isopropyl alcohol, 99%, and it's 4 quarts for $33. And I'll put the link out here in the side chat. That breaks down to $8.33 a quart, $8.38 a quart. So, if you get
high, that sounds high, but have been to
it lasts for a long time.
Have you been to CVS lately and seen what like a half a pint costs? It's $4 for a small.
Right. Yeah. So keep in mind, anything alcohol has increased, just like ammo and primers with missing it. So. Right. Anything alcohol, sanitizing type, all that stuff went up in price, the supply and demand and stuff like that. So,
most of your rubbing alcohols you'll find on the shelf are between 68 and 74%. 99% is like finding a unicorn.
Right. Yeah. You'd only find it like most barbers. If you go to the parlor, right? If you go to the parlor, most barbers will have that high concentrate of alcohol. Let me tell you what, before all of this, I used to get alcohol from the Dollar Tree. You can't find it at the Dollar Tree, not even the 60% stuff. So, yep, there you go right there.
That's what you want.
99%.
That was 78 cents. That was 78 cents a year ago on Amazon.
Right.
That bottle. I'll show you. But if you get anything less than 91%, you have trouble with the lanolin dissolving well and staying distributed in your mixture. You got to constantly shake the bottle. It works, but you've got to constantly shake your spray bottle as you're applying to make sure it stays emulsified.
Now, see that 78% alcohol. What's the rest of it, Russ?
Water.
It's nothing but water.
Yeah, so it's just water.
You want the most alcohol content that you can get so it'll evaporate quicker and not leave water spots on your brass. You spend all that time making them beautiful and shiny. You don't want them spotted up with water.
And if you use that lower alcohol content alcohol to make your lube with, that water will stay on your brass and it will cause dents in your neck, in your shoulders.
Yep.
Ask me how I know.
Okay. I ordered this in a 4-pack, and I think it was like $8, 10 at the time. And I think I got this for like $8 too. Do I need to blow that up so she can see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the same brand that I've got in quarts, and I think, well, not the heat, the lanolin. But
yeah, this is a 12-ounce bottle. This right here is an 8-ounce bottle, but you can get it in however big a thing you want. But I don't, like I said, you can see I've used 1 ounce out of it, and I used 10 ounces of this. So you're going to have a little bit left in here. So to avoid that, some people mix it 12 to 1 and just put this whole thing in with 1 ounce of this. Anyway, when you get it mixed up, it looks like this.
And that will last a long time.
This bottle, when I first started using it 3 years ago, was up to about right there. And I've used that much of it.
I went to this is the mistake you don't want to make. I went to like a health and beauty place here in town looking for lanolin oil, and they had a bottle of it. And I was just in the need of it. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take it. Went to the cash register, and she was like $14. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, I bought it. And that's when I went to Jordan and said, look, dude, you're loading rifle too. Let's see what we can find on Amazon, see what, because this is ridiculous. I'm still using that small bottle. I haven't even opened any of the big quart bottles of lanolin oil yet. And that happened about 3 years ago, I think. Oh, Lord.
But either way, you mix your own, you get 10, 11, or 12 ounces of mix. I mean, that's an 8-ounce bottle. That right there will last the average loader a long time.
Right.
And if you were to buy that pre-mixed from one of the big name retailers, I mean, that bottle is going to cost you $10. So you come out economically better, and you got a good quality product that you mixed up yourself.
Yeah, Mike Hester, I'm not using Frog Lube case lube. I'm using an old Frog Lube spray bottle because it's just the perfect size. I got done with all the solvent, which I think the solvent works pretty good. Maybe that's what you were talking about. But the bottle is the perfect size, and it's got a real good trigger sprayer on it. That's why I use that bottle.
Big E, I saw it today for $20. That Imperial Sizing Wax. I got this unique from Hornady, and it's very similar, if not the exact same thing. It does smell a little different. But back when I bought this, which was probably 3 years ago, it was like $4. And you can't see it, but I've used a little bit of it. But the main thing I use this on is 223, because 223 is the worst case about getting stuck in your dyes, in my opinion.
Yes, it is.
Sorry, y'all. That's my child raising Cain. He's been on it today. That's all I can say.
That is, bro.
Oh, and we hadn't talked about probably mine and Kyle's favorite. Yeah, it's a operator error because you didn't take care to do what you're supposed to do.
That the only ones that I've had have been my fault. Yep, you're right.
Right.
And Chico, you need to go through the side chat. You late.
Okay. Let me hit this right here. That's is it Scale MN? He said that Menards. How do you say that? Menards. That they have that isopropyl alcohol for $1.50 a bottle, and they do, but it says no online sales. It didn't tell it. It kind of didn't tell me if it had it in stock, but we don't have them down here. But if you have a Menards near you, I would buy that. I would definitely go, but it's in-store purchase only. So thanks for that tip. Maybe it'll help someone. Let's go through this side chat and see who's out there. I got to do it 2 ways. Participants list first. AOK Forging Adventures, AR Gun 1776, Big E, Eagle Eye Shooting. Hey, brother. Fuzz T Forks 8 is quiet out there tonight so far. GGW Reloading, James Pollard. John's Hand Loading, Rebels out there, Ocean 374, Reloader 762, Rawless, Scale MN, Scale MN. I might be saying that wrong. Squatch Reload and Big Man's Outdoors. Hey brother, Uncle John, West Covina Dodge. Dang, that just moved on me. William C. Chaplin. And now let me go back to the live chat. Make sure I didn't. It's got Tread is out there. Daniel God's my judge. Idaho Rogers. Insight Freedom. Hey, brother. Big E.
Pop in.
John's hand loading. Rawless. Big E. I know Uncle Jim's out there. James Pollard. I'm scrolling. Bear with me. Uncle John, I said that, didn't I? A couple times. GGW Reloading. Bald and Curious. Hey, brother. Lakeview Outdoors. And that just jumped on me again. I'm sure Chris 338 is out there. He's always out there, even if I don't see him. So I say his name all the time. He's like, here I go. Let me see. Make sure. Let me scroll up and scroll down one more time. Sometimes the participant list, we got Pony. There we go. Pony _47 and Ocean 374. If I didn't say so, everyone, thanks for joining us. Like I said, we have some preparation stuff that we're talking about. So we're bottleneck cartridges and a lot of the basic stuff. So thanks everyone who's out there. If you get a chance, if you find this informative in some shape, form, or fashion, if you hit that like button, that kind of helps us out. Y'all know we don't make any money doing this, but it does get our videos out there in the algorithm to be shown to the world. I go figure. So thanks everyone for being here with us. All right, you can have it back, Jamie.
That's Pony 47.
That's right, Tread.
Another case lube we're using is this Lee stuff. I really like this stuff. It's pretty good too.
Can you zoom in on that, Jamie, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
The problem,
JC Texan.
I don't think they sell it individually. It used to come in the sizing kits for your bullet resizing. And I called Lee to see if I could get some of that. And they said, well, we really don't sell that separately. And I don't even think they sell it anymore.
If you want it, eBay. I've seen it on eBay, but there's it's not the price that it used to be.
It works amazing for bullet size. And if you got a 44 Magnum or a 45 or something like that that's just a little too big and you got to really push, you put a little bit of that up in the die with a Q-tip, they go right through there. They fly out the top of it.
That Lee lube, I don't remember which one it is, but any of you guys electricians, you may know all that Lee lube is a cable lubricant for pulling cable. It's the same stuff. You can buy it in a 5-gallon bucket from Home Depot, and I used to know the name of it, and it's not expensive.
I used to know the
if
name
I
of
find
it.
out, I'll let you know. But it's the same exact stuff.
Oh, they do still sell it. Oh, well, they told me they really didn't sell it individually. So maybe it was just that small of a part number. I don't know.
Yeah, he's selling midway. So yeah, I'll tell you, I've got a few case lubes some people dislike. My very first case lube that I bought was the Hornady One Shot. That's because if it's local to me in a big box store, I'm gonna buy it. Normally the price was better. The price was reasonable. But I also bought the is that Hornady 2, the Unique. That lasts a long time. And when I do my rifle, what I do, I put on my gloves. I'll put some in my hand and just do my cases like that. I'll just rub them between my hands and drop them in a tray or whatever. And a lot of it stays on the gloves. But so I've used that. But I do have the do-it-yourself, the lanolin and the isopropyl alcohol.
I can't remember who it was. I just went down the YouTube rabbit hole one night, and somebody had 2 identical presses, and they had retrofitted it with a 1/2-inch socket on the pull handle, and they took a torque wrench and measured the torque between one shot that Lee paste what Jamie had, that tub, and the lanolin lube, and the lanolin lube was almost half the torque to resize the brass. And he did it like on 6 different pieces of brass with all 3 different lubes, and every time that liquid lanolin was almost half the torque of the other lubes.
So are you saying it took more force to do the homemade one or the commercially bought one?
It took half the force.
It took half the force
to do the homemade ones, and he had the exact same dies and the exact same press, rigged up the exact same way with the exact same wrench, and he did like 6 cases on each and took an average of them.
Right, and I've seen someone take that lube that Jamie had and mix it, or cut it rather, with some alcohol and use that, and it's pretty much kind of, it thins it out. So I can see that. I can definitely see it being, half the only taking half the force to size something.
I love the homemade stuff. I've used a couple of the commercial ones. I don't even remember what they were now. It's been so long ago. May the force be with Kyle. Okay, thank you. Whoa.
I think it's water soluble too, big man. And Big E said that he went and looked at Midway, and right now they're still selling the Imperial sizing wax for $10. But I saw it today on Amazon, but you don't know who's selling it on Amazon. That's kind of like eBay, man.
Yeah, the best way with Amazon, if anybody or shoppers, use Amazon. If it says, sold or shipped by Amazon, that's going to be your best offer. That's going to be the cheapest. If the third party seller, you may have shipping included. Added on. So if you're an Amazon shopper, you want to use the Amazon if it says sold by Amazon or distributed by Amazon. So because the unique is in your local big box stores, I haven't seen it. And it was like $3.99 at Academy when I bought mine. So, and I haven't seen it. So go figure.
I'm telling you, you can't find anything at Academy right now for reloading unless you're doing, 8.723 millimeter Mausers, something nobody's got.
Yeah, I've seen those scales that nobody like. That Jamie has one of them. Those Hornady scales. They got like 2 of them at my Academy. The little round, the Hornady, the small pocket scale.
Me and Angel went in there the other day looking for something, and I said, well, just for giggles and grins, let's, run by over here. I'm sorry, it's not a Frog Lube bottle. It's an old Dillon Precision bottle that I just keep refilling. Anyway, so I just looked on my reloading bench and saw it. I said, let's go by the reloading section just for the heck of it. Went by there, all I saw was empty, dusty shelves.
This might go the way of the Lee safety scales. I'm just saying.
But I'll tell you that with that scale Jamie has, if that's the only scale you have, just calibrate it, and if you don't know how to calibrate it, if you don't have calibration weights, there's other ways to do it to get it real close. So
calibrate it after every charge.
Correct. Yeah. Every time you change the batteries or something more. But I think that's better than no scale. Because I've had some questions on Instagram that people ask me could they get by without doing stuff, and I don't want anyone to hurt themselves because of my, I wouldn't give them no answers and say no. You need a scale, even if it's a manual scale, which I'd suggest a manual scale for a new reloader.
It's really not that bad.
I guess it's depending on what cartridge, right? Because some cartridges you can only put so much in, but it's also depending on what powder you're using.
I think with that Hornady G2, it depends on a lot of stuff. Yeah, it depends on too much stuff. if there's any breeze in the room, if your floor joists are not very steady and somebody walks across the floor, I mean, the wife turned on the dryer. I mean, anything. They're that sensitive. Um, Also, they seem to be a whole lot flaky when I've got my computer running and I'm watching YouTube videos and stuff. I think it interferes.
Hmm.
So good night, Thack. Be careful out there. And Kenny's got it right as always. Sometimes you can.
And you know what? I don't know if anyone, I'm sure they did answer West Covina Dodge's comment out there. He was asking about 45 ACP. And I'm a little more versed in pistol versus rifle. And I can tell you, I don't trim any pistol brass at all. But I think if you're having some issues with loading 45, that's going to be dependent on your bullet. And it's going to be depending on probably the style of bullet. So obviously, if it's a cast bullet, you may have to flare or expand. And I use all these words interchangeably: flare, expand, or bail. I use them. Oops. Your case mouth to get that bullet to seat in there, especially if it's a cast bullet. But I haven't had many issues with 45, but I never trim any brass, especially not 45 or 9. I hope that helps, Pat. I'm sorry. No. Let me make sure Jamie stepped out for a second. Ohio lead is better than Georgia lead too. Oh, fuzz. Shots fired. Talking about our lead, huh? I may have a lead on some lead. A lead. Yeah, that's spelled the same way. A lead on some lead tomorrow. I got a buddy that works at a range, and he said, "Hey, you need some lead?" I was like, "Yeah."
The tone and all.
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he said the local municipality had a fire, I guess, at one of their training things, and he said, "Bring 2 buckets." I said, "Okay, I'll be there." You gotta tell me even once. I gotta drive for it, but that's okay.
This one, Big E, the Hornady scale, little Hornady. I also have the Frankfurt Arsenal. It works pretty good. I'm getting a bunch of wisecracks about no scale works in Georgia and all that crap. Maybe it's just me. This is my favorite, the Wahoo. And I would say that the Frankfurt Arsenal is my second. Anyway, I went to this reloading workshop put on by Hornady, and the guy who was going to have us do some reloading, that's the only scale he brought with him to the workshop. And guess what? It didn't work. So we didn't get to reload anything.
What an offer, Squatch out there.
Yeah, man. I don't have a Dillon, or I'd be driving to Ohio.
What is the Bob shooting? I should know that for a 550. Sharanda, you've got a 550.
Yeah, but I'm drawing a blank on what the Bob shoot is too. I probably renamed it and don't know the official name.
Unless he's talking about the spent primer catcher.
You got that right, Mike. So I'm not the only one. Are you in Georgia, Big E? That's probably why it don't work.
Yeah, apparently it don't.
He's in Texas, which is gives credence to Curtis's comment, because that's about the same longitudinal line that we're on.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Check that out.
So, Jamie, what do you normally do? Which I know, but what do you normally do after you? So you've inspected your brass, and or you're doing what first after you've lubed, all right? Yeah, because
Okay.
you're gonna size it.
The first thing I do is I deprime them with the Lee depriming universal depriming thing, and then I wash them in the water and steel pins and Dawn. I don't use that much of the lemon shine stuff, and I don't have lemon shine per se. I have some citric acid, which is the same stuff. Um, I got it at Walmart out of the Canon section. Anyway, after I wash them and they dry, I'll lube them usually with that spray, that lanolin spray stuff, and then size them, and then I'll put them in the corncob media and run them just long enough to get the lube off of it. And then after that, um, I check them to see if they need to be trimmed, which I probably should trim before I put them back in the corncob media, don't you reckon? But it's hard to hold on to them to trim them with all that grease on there. So anyway, so yeah, I just after that I trim them, then I prime them, and I put powder in them, put a bullet on them, seat them. I think one of the things, well, AR Guns 1776 wrote earlier about way back there about headspace, and maybe we should talk about that a little bit as far as how we go about setting up our full length sizing die. If you go by the directions on most die sets, what they're going to have you do is sizing it back down to SAMI minimum every single time. And your brass is not going to last very long that way, and you're not going to get very good accuracy either. But messing around with Kenny and Kyle and some of those other guys, they taught me what I need to do, and see if I can find that particular. I've got one set of um, I have the Hornady. Right here it is. I put it right here where I wouldn't lose it. The Hornady case comparator thingy.
Oh, I still need to get one of those.
Yeah, and let me find it. Right here, I think. Yeah. This is some pretty good money to spend. Um, what I mean by that, it's a worthwhile investment. So you get the cartridge head space gauge bushing set, and it comes with 5. And then this is the bullet comparator and basic insert set. And if you got these two, this um, body right here is going. This piece right here is going to come right here is going to come with one of those two sets. Now this anvil down here is just flat bottom, and it's a little bit extra money. I think it was like 10 or 11 bucks, but it's very worthwhile. And what I do is I zero that sucker out. Y'all can see. I zero it out when it's touching, and that's the reason why this is the only scale, the only thing I use the scale for. And of course, this is just one of the cheap digital scales from uh, Harbor Freight. But I'll take a fired case. This one ain't gonna work. Yeah, it will. This is a 7.62 by 54R, and you can put it in there and close it, and you'll get that measurement from your head of the case to your datum line, and then you probably need if your memory is as long as mine, you probably need to write that measurement down because it's not an accurate measurement; it's a reference number. And then when you follow your directions and set your put your ram all the way up, and then screw your die down until it touches that, and then you back it back out. Probably how far, Russ? Say 1.5, two revolutions.
Well, I do it a little different than that. And I don't want to cut you off or anything.
Go ahead, man. I'm always looking for an easier way.
All right. So the way I do it, I take my brass, just like you said, I screw the die down. Make sure your lock ring's loose. I have a coax press, and it works for all of them. But you screw your die down till it touches the shell holder, which mine's over. Till it touches the shell holder, I can set it up with 2 pieces of brass. Size your first piece and take your case comparator and get your initial measurement versus a fired piece of brass from that rifle. So then, once you get that number, you want 0.02 of an inch of shoulder bump on the. You want to blow me up, or do I do it? There we go. All right. So on the back of nearly every one of your calipers, there's a ledge. Let me turn it where you can see right there. Take your die, on the back side of your caliper, run the top of it all the way to the lock ring. That ledge is going to touch the bottom of the sizing die. Then you'll take those numbers, and because you have your initial measurement here where you size that first piece of brass. So say your unfired piece of brass is 2.230 inches long. That's your fired piece of brass. Your size piece of brass is 2.272, and you only want it 2.278. So you take 0.05 of an inch off right here. You would screw it out until you take that 0.05 of an inch off, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be dead on the money. You can size that next piece of brass once you get your measurement right, and you check it on the comparator, and you should have the 0.02 or just a little, maybe just a little more than 0.02 of an inch of shoulder bump, and that's the best for that one particular rifle. You'll get more case life and more accuracy, but it's only good in that one particular rifle, and that all of that brass has to have been fired in that one rifle. Does that make sense? I hope I didn't jump around too much on that.
No, it's just a different way to get to the same thing. The way I did it to set my dies up is take a fired case, take another fired case, run it down till it touched, back it off a little bit. I did it the way Jamie did. Back it off a little bit, size the case, put it in the comparator, this is where I got my first stuck case. I stuck it right back in there, screwed the die down a little bit more, run it up in there. Dang it. So got that out, got another case and sized it, measured it, screwed the die down just a little bit more. And then, like you said, get you a couple of thousandths. And I just kept running it down until till I got where I wanted it. And then I locked that thing down and dang near welded the lock ring on it. So
Yeah.
it ain't moving.
The way I used to do it, I would have my rifle sitting by the bench. I'd turn the die all the way down, back it out a turn, and I'd take 7 or 8 pieces of brass and I would size one piece, put it in the gun. If the bolt didn't close just barely with any resistance, I sized the next piece, and I would keep sizing them until that bolt would just barely give me a little bit of resistance right there as it locked home. And I mean that was before, you know, that's 15 years ago. I've been reloading 30 years. So, you know, that's 15 years ago. And talking to bench rest shooters, that's no bench rest shooters neck sizes. I will say that. I got out of that a long time ago. So, but
and you
that's
talk
the way
to somebody else, and they say neck sizing is the way to go.
Yeah, man, your PRS, your guys that are winning PRS and bench rest, they are not neck sizing. I've been to enough of them and talked to enough of them. They are not neck sizing. They're using some very high dollar dies, but they're not neck sizing.
That's what you got to do, John. Find what works for you, and it don't matter how you get there.
Yeah, first things first, like what we say in my profession, RTFB. Read the freaking book. It came with one for a reason. That'll explain to you how the process works, and then you can alter their process to suit your needs. And me being a career mechanic, you do the same thing over and over. You find the best way that works for you, and that's what you do. So there's multiple ways to skin a cat. Just get the skin off, you know.
I had one bench rest shooter tell me probably 15 or 20 years ago that, I take that back. He did neck size, but he marked the head of his cases. He indexed them. It's like indexing spark plugs on a hot rod engine. If you're a mechanic, Kyle, he marked each case head, where when he put that round in that gun, it had to be at the same point, where when he closed the bolt, it locked in the same place. So that brass was oriented, each piece of brass was oriented the same every time it was fired out of that gun. And he did neck size, and he got a room full of trophies. I ain't gonna kid you.
I think Mike Hester's not hearing what I'm not conveying what I'm trying to say. I'm talking about setting up the case comparator, Mike. No, I was just making the statement that you can talk to some people and they say neck sizing is the best thing ever on the planet. So, I mean, just whatever. And in that situation too, whatever works for you. I do not neck size. My 270 neck sizing die is sitting right there. But yeah, that's what I was talking about, Mike.
Okay, is sizing our rifle brass going to become like politics and religion on this channel? Something we can't talk about because everybody gets too fired up.
I'm not fired up. I wasn't talking about neck sizing when I made that comment. I was talking about setting up the case comparator, or setting up your die based on the case comparator. And my way might not work for somebody else, but I resize and trim after every second load, or I resize every time full length. Now that I've got my dies set where it needs to be to match my chamber, and because I only have the one 308, so all of my 308's been shot out of the same gun. So yeah, sorry, Mike, I wasn't trying to to ride off on a silver horse or anything. No. But yeah, once I took the time, because it did take a minute the way I did it to, and when I did my 223, I went a totally different way. But I did it by the book the first time, and it took a minute. And like I said, I pretty much just welded the lock ring down. That die's never coming out of that tool head.
And it's the nature of the beast. We're in some form or fashion, we're all tinkerers. I mean, we get this to, you're gonna try neck sizing at some point. And nobody's, I'm not saying it's wrong. They sell neck sizing dies for a purpose. I mean, for a reason. It's popular in some form or fashion. Play with it, tinker. That's how you learn.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do what works for you, just like anything else. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I prefer, through my experience and trials and errors, I never saw the benefit over doing it the way with the shoulder bump, like I explained earlier.
There's some mechanics that say you can get the cylinder heads out of an F-150 with a 5.4 liter in it by just pulling the cylinder heads. I prefer to pull the cab off. That 10 minutes saves me a lot of time.
Neck tension. Boy, you scruffle some feathers with that one.
That's what I do, big man. Yeah. So we lost a lot of viewers there, Chico. What can we do, man?
I'm thinking, and this is how I think, and whatever works for you at the moment, because I've seen it both ways. But the way Russ was explaining, I seen it like that, and I said next time I'm gonna try it like that because it made perfect sense when I seen someone explain it like that. The exact same way. As soon as when he picked up those calibers, he said you use the backside. I was like, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a video on that, and I was like, you know what? Next time I'm gonna do it. But just like it says, it's gotta come. It's for one specific chamber, so one specific rifle. If you're shooting and or just my opinion, if you're shooting and you save all your brass and you're able to effectively organize it, like, depending on what kind of action you're shooting out of, but yeah, if you're saving that brass and you're like, this is just for this dirty predator right here, you know what I mean? So it's just, I only have one boat gun. So, I mean, I can totally see myself doing that, but it says the viewers hit at Chico Wise link. Yeah, sorry. Look, it went quick. I'm sorry. I was trying to help. I seen problems in stock. I said, I got to let somebody know because, but it went quick. Sorry. Y'all come on back. Come on back. They went quick too. But whatever works for you at this moment. And just like I agree with Russ saying, so I'm a mechanic, but most of you know that I tinker with stuff. I've done some stuff with a 38 semi wad cutter. I'm sorry, a full wad cutter and a 9mm case. I just ain't put no powder in it because I'm a tinkerer. And I was like, nope, that wouldn't work. And it was, it was like a full wad cutter in a 9mm case, and the bullet was almost as long as the case, just because I'm a tinkerer. But I wouldn't dare add any primers or powder to it and shoot it out of my gun. But so certain stuff in reload, and just like he says, you're going to tinker it because you may find another route that works for you better than the way you're using. So I always kind of be open-minded, but be safe about it always. If it's
don't knock bullet size and case size, because I shoot 300 blackout bullets longer than the case.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'll always take something from rifle topics. Always something to touch on when I start doing more of it, because like I said, I'm just 308 and 5.56 or 223 for the moment, and most of y'all know I've just started 300 blackout. So that seems, I've heard that's easier, sort of, maybe, I don't know, but.
Have you tried them out yet?
No, I got to finish building the gun.
Well, one thing I can say about 300 blackout, it's a whole lot easier on the brass than 223 is. It's just barely tapered. And it's not really tapered, it's just stepped down.
I got to get a blackout for that animal right there.
What mold is that, Russ?
It's NOE, 153 grain NOE.
Let's see it again.
Actually, I have these. It's a gas checkless, no lube groove.
Perfect for powder coating.
Yeah, they're powder coated. Then I have these critters right here, and I do not remember the mold. I did not write it down. But it's
That
powder
looks like
coated.
the Lee 308 230, the Elvis missile.
It is. It's 200 and something. Actually, I'll tell you when my scale fires up.
Looks like the 230. That's if I'm shooting cast, that's what I shoot.
Yeah, I'm on. I'll tell you what it is. These are weighing out at 223 grains, so it's probably an alloy. Making it a little lighter.
It's the Lee 230.
We saved one. Didn't powder coat. I just want one powder coated.
If I can just find them. No, not so.
Somebody asked about.
I really got to get my light switch fixed so I can have some light in here at night.
Okay, I think I finally noticed the trend. If there's some type of crazy load or crazy bullet going on in these chats, I notice everybody refers to them as the taco load. Is Taco the one that always does the crazy stuff?
NOE bullet molds is like at the end of his driveway. So he's real good friends with the guy that owns the place, Al. And they'll get together and swap ideas and all that stuff. And Al will make a mold. Taco will cast for it, take it out in the middle of the desert and shoot it. And now all of a sudden you have this oddball. Hell, I got one right here.
Yeah, Taco helps with some of the designs. So
yeah,
something that you won't see. And see, that's the thing. If you can get someone to make a mold, like say like what's a manufacturer that makes a mold to order? Accurate, right? They do Arsenal. There it is. So if there's something that's not typical, say 45 coat, it's not, you're kind of limited on the range of bullets, sort of sometimes, or it may not be that one, it may be another one, but they can make a mold based on your specifications, especially if you got a custom build or something like that. But Taco does a lot of stuff with them.
The very first 44 Magnum mold that I got was from Taco. I won it in a giveaway, and it's very oddball. It's oversized and overweight. I'm trying to see if there's one laying here on the bench. I really got to clean this thing up this weekend. Found my case comparator. Yeah, there it is. I thought I was running really low. I might be out of them. I might need to cast some more up, but it was a 2-cavity NOE mold, 285 grain 44 Magnum, and one cavity was regular and one cavity was gas check style. I think it was 285. But it was oversized specifically for lever guns. And I noticed when I first started casting them, they'd fit in my Henry. My Henry just loved them. I mean, it was pretty dang accurate with it. But I couldn't even chamber them in my Red Hawk. They wouldn't even fit in the cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tread asked a little while back, does deburring your flash holes matter? And I'll say yes, it matters. particularly because I was watching Johnny's Reloading Bench videos today on 6.5 Creedmoor, and he was using that powder that Russ had earlier, that N555, and he was using Starline small rifle primer brass. So with the small primer and that M55 in really cold weather, he was having hang fires and failure to detonate. And he took them inside and took them apart. And he was having those little orange globs of the powder. And that stuff is coated. And it was like he was having trouble getting that small primer to set off that powder. But it seemed like it was only that particular powder and only with the small primers.
So that powder is very temperature sensitive.
Well,
No,
it's made to be temperature insensitive. In other words, get you the same standard deviation and velocity when it's hot or cold.
It's very dense, and it's for a standard primer. It's for a standard small primer. It's a little difficult to ignite. If you use a Magnum small rifle Magnum, which he did switch to in later videos, he stopped having that problem. Someone was
I have
asking
no clue,
about.
Sharonda.
Chap just answered it for.
Oh,
You see that, Sharonda?
I'm gonna switch back over to my screen. Hold on.
It's a temperature probe.
Oh,
Okay.
they started doing that now? Wow.
It was an option when I looked at the link that was dropped in there, and so I had a "what the hell is that" moment.
If you don't have a degree in astrophysics and you start digging into the NOE website, oh my Lord, you'll be lost in a heartbeat.
Thanks, guys.
It took me 30 minutes to figure out that the 44 Magnum hollow point mold I've got. I had to Google some of the words and abbreviations and stuff like that to figure out that was a mold I wanted or not. I'm like, good Lord.
The flash hole, the primer flash holes. I'll say this: do what gives you confidence in your ammunition. But if you have flashing on the inside of a punched flash hole, you could have irregular ignition, and you'll see higher SDs and extreme spreads in your loads. But on that note, there are different tools, and there are different size flash holes. If you look, you want to blow me up, Jamie? If you look, I don't know if you can see that good. This one is for the small flash hole. See how smaller the cutter is than this one? And I like this. I like these styles. They have a stop, a built-in stop right here. You can't go too far into the flash hole and weaken your primer pocket. Whereas if you use that one, I think this is a Lyman. You have to be very particular how you set the collar, because you will eat into that web around the primer pocket, and you can actually you'll see the primer pocket, the flash hole, erode after a firing or two if you get it thin enough in there. Just for all those asking, look, when you buy your tools, the stops are real good to have.
And when it comes to cleaning out flash holes, it depends on what you're doing with that round. If you're just loading up some 223 to take out plinking, I wouldn't worry about it.
No.
But if you're going to 1,000 yard, match, then you need to know what that round does when you do clean the flash holes and all that stuff. That way you can duplicate the results, because that's why we do what we do, is to get dependable, duplicatable results. So I wouldn't, oh, I'm going to a match, let me clean these flash holes, and you get out there and you can't hit nothing, so it all depends on what you're doing with it, in my opinion.
It's a confidence thing too. I mean, some folks, I've talked to people in the past where you can tell, I didn't do this. That's my problem. Well, go ahead and do it so you don't have that to blame on it. And my rule is, if it's going in a bolt gun, it's getting the flash holes and the primer pockets uniformed.
Right.
Anything else, I don't care. Semi-autos, levers, they're not precise enough in their mechanical lockup for me to justify that work.
Hey, Wes. Max, about time you showed up, buddy. Sorry. Oh, I got to get one of those, Chico. You know I do.
I definitely buy, I'd buy some. I've dealt with Al before. Actually, let me tell you, my first mold I ever purchased from them, I was having a problem with the sprue plate, and it could be because I was new to their molds. I had only used Lee and some Ideal or Lyman steel ones, and he called me. Like I sent an email. He called me the next day. I didn't know who it was. I thought it was one of those scam calls. And he talked to me, and this is the owner, this is, I'm sure he's got a team of people that runs his equipment besides him, or, but he called me. He was like, what's going on? Tell me about it, and I told him, and I said, I'll try again. He said, no, I'll send you another sprue plate out the blue. I didn't have to pay for anything. I sent him an email back. Hey, I appreciate that. I mean, the molds they're not Lee price. Let's just be honest. They are not the price of Lee's.
No.
So I was like, hey man, I don't know. Is it because I was having a smearing issue and it wasn't overheated or anything, and he sent me another plate and I haven't had the problem since. Still running it the same way. And so I like their stuff. The aluminum is nice and thick. So I definitely buy from them just because of my first experience with, customer. I'm big on customer service. So that scope mount, certain stuff for lever guns, sometimes it's pricey. I've looked at those, what is it, Jamie? The Georgia boy gets when he changes out his sights. I don't like the ghost. I don't like the horns on my lever guns at all. I'm not used to them, the buckhorn sights. I'm not used to them.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely probably get more scope now.
You can spend
I've
spend a lot of money on them ghost ring sights.
Yeah, those marble sights and ghost ring sights. It's like for those lever guns, they're high. They are high.
Hey Chico.
Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't have to be like now. Can you send me a picture of yours later?
My what?
Your mount.
My mount?
Yeah. Don't you have a scope on your lever action?
No, ma'am, because they will condemn me in the side chat.
Well, if you do, send me a picture and I won't tell them.
No, I don't. But
panel too.
Yeah, but I've shot some lever guns with scopes on them, and when me and Jamie was at the range day with his, I know we had his. That was your 30-30, right? We was binging that steel 100 yards out. Them guys was looking like yeah. If you can see, you can probably hit it. That's
that one piece of steel you was dinging was 225 yards out.
Oh yeah, it was. So it was them guys was over there shooting at Glock 18, they're fully automatic, and I was like, bah! They was like, yeah. If you can see it, you can hit it. If you got a good load. So, but that was Jamie's gun.
And those were my hand loads too.
It was.
There's a lady here that I hunted with earlier this year. She hunts deer with her lever action, and hers had a scope on it. It was actually, I thought it was pretty nice, but apparently it's a laughable thing.
I don't think it's a laughable thing. It's more those guns. What I know somebody's gonna try. Oh, Chaps in the side. He'll definitely tell you why. It's a cowboy gun. That's how back in the Western days, it had some of them had I think mine has semi buckhorn, but I'm just not used to them. But my Henry has different sights, and I'll ping steel with it all day. My little 22 Henry, it has like BB gun sights, just a flat bar, and then but those not ghost horn, those buckhorn sights are like they're funny for me. So I'm just not used to them. I just need to shoot more with them.
Yeah, Surrender people were killing deer with lever guns before bolt guns ever hit the shore of the United States of America, except for the Army.
And they were doing it with those buckhorn sights.
They were.
So
there's a trick to those, especially on those Rossies and the Henrys. It's like there's 2 steps on them.
Yeah. My Henry's got the buckhorns on it.
You got the semi buckhorn, you got full buckhorn, and you have something else. So traditional. There you go. See, I knew guys would chime in the traditional. Jack says traditionalists don't like it, and that's typical. I mean, that's true. That's a true statement.
Yeah, people make fun of me for putting scopes on my lever guns, but I'm at the point where I can't see without them. And I love shooting my my lever guns.
Your lever gun was fun.
All right, speaking of loving shooting lever guns, everybody needs to go to henryusa.com, and there's a little button there that says request free catalog. They're going to send you their normal catalog with rifles and shotguns in it. They're going to send you their specialty catalog with rifles and shotguns in it that are custom, like EMS appreciation, Back the Blue edition, that kind of stuff. You talk about some beautiful firearms in these catalogs. I mean, they know that they're expensive, but anyway, you'll get another piece of paper it's like the Henry News or whatever, but they also give you some free stickers. And it doesn't cost anything. So just go over there, and if you just feel like needing something to sit in the bathroom for reading material, you'll enjoy it, and it's free. So it's henryusa.com. Just a plug.
Yeah, I get their catalog. They will send it to you. So,
here's one of the stickers right here. What I do with it? Just here.
So most everybody's traditionalist when it comes to lever action rifles on here, right?
You get one of these to put on your back window, the see-through. That y'all can't see it, but it says "Hunt with a Henry" and it's got some buckhorns on it. Then the other one is their big. I need to backlight it. Hang on. Where is it? There it is. Jeez, this is not working. Yeah, it's not going to work. But stick on your back window, and it says "Hunt with a Henry," and it's got beautiful buckhorns on it. The other one is just their logo that's like on the box. So it'd be one that you'd put on an ammo can or something like that. I don't think I'd want to put that on my back window or bumper.
I don't feel like Kyle is flashing us.
There it is.
Yeah, I think so, Russ. Most people, but you know what? I'm not against putting a scope on my any of my lever guns. Because if I shoot some, I want to hit it, and I want to kind of hit where I shoot. So, but I think I'm just going to change my sights first to see if that will remedy the issue I'm having.
I might rub somebody the wrong way, but I just don't believe in all the tactical lever actions I see posted all over the place. With the free float rails down, that's just
Oh
no.
yeah, see that
Those
ruins it
You
for me.
exist? Wait, didn't we look at one of those a few months ago?
That's probably the new.
The
Henry's
new
got a new
Henry?
line with the thread. Now I like the threaded barrel options. I definitely like the threaded, but I've seen one with I think Henry's new line, and somebody posted it up early in the comments. Is it they're all weathers? I think they have a Picatinny rails on the
Yeah.
bottom or something. It's got a
Yeah,
plastic stock too, so
it's the Tactical 3030.
yeah, and it's high in pricing with a plastic stock, but it is all weather. It's a so
And it is a very good looking firearm too, though.
I'll take my old Marlin 35 all day long.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's the Henry X. Hey, I can go get a picture of it. I got the catalogs on the back porch. Here we go.
And the Marlin Black.
Come on, baby girl.
so yeah. All right, Jamie. So we've done all that with our bottleneck cartridges, and then we jump to our lever guns, but that's okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, let's back up right there for a minute. What we were talking about pretty much just goes for bolt action hunting rifles and long range shooting stuff. But if you're talking about for AR-15s or for lever guns, either one, I don't know that you need to go back doing it that way.
Right, and I think that's kind of what I was hitting on because the only bolt action I have is 308, but I'm going to be loading for it. Well, I've kind of started loading for 223, 556 playing around, but it's a little bit different as far as sizing, because I don't have no once fired brass like that. I mean, well, I have once. It's not my brass, so it's been once fired for sure, but for a like AR semi-automatic, it's a little bit different, I believe so.
I love my 35 Remington lever gun. Y'all know if you watch my channel, I got 10 different loads on there on my channel for 35 Remington. But yeah, I can't count the number of deer I killed with that gun. My 270 and my 30-06 too. Those seem to be my go-tos. But I'm gonna try to get in the woods with what's left of this hunting season with my 350 Legend.
Back
There's
to
a thought.
sizing for the shoulder bump. If you down in Georgia, for the most part, I mean, we do have some bears, but if you're in dangerous game country, you're reloading your own ammo, it would be kind of foolish to do it to minimum specs. You want to make sure that ammo functions. If you're up in Minnesota or Alaska in bear country, that round better go in that chamber, and the one behind it better go in too. So I mean, you would definitely just go ahead and size completely down to Sammy spec.
Not just that, you need to make sure that second one is not going to cause you any pressure problems and blow your gun up because you might need the third and the fourth one too. So if you're loading
Right.
for a lever gun, get you a good crimp on that bullet.
Speaking of crimp, the same way you set your size die that I was talking about with your caliper, if you set your crimp die up, you can repeat the same way because the crimp die screws in. If you crimp separately, I never crimp on the same step as I do seat. So like in my turret press, in my Hornady AP, I seat and then crimp, and you can set your crimp dial up and make sure you got the same amount of crimp if you've done some load development. And you can say, okay, I'm gonna do 1,000th inch crimp on this one, 2 on the next, so on, and you get to that 4,000th crimp, and you can set that every time if you have to change out your dies for some reason. It works the same way.
Yeah, Tread. Yeah, see, I told you he know what he talking about, man. When his video or his channel first came out, when he started it, I think we were probably on Discord, and he was like, "This is Russ," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, so he definitely knows. I'm sure he'll get some videos out, but I know I watched a few of them that he had. So, and you know that's what we was talking about. Some people learn stuff from. I learn stuff from all channels, and I'll take a piece here and a piece here and make my own piece. It's like a Frankenstein. But what works for me, because some stuff, just like he was showing how to set up that die with the back of those calibers, some people may not, some people may not want to do it that way or even understand how to do it that way. So I definitely
I don't get it.
I
don't understand what he's talking about, but I'll get with him and we'll get on a video and I'll figure it out.
All right.
And what I'm talking about there is, I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, but at the same time, I'm not the dumbest either. But a lot of what you can do in your particular reloading process for different ammo and stuff depends on what you can do.
Well,
what are you able to comprehend? What are you able to? How far are you developed in the rabbit hole?
Yeah, some people are hands-on learners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'd have to do it a couple times. If he was explaining or someone was explaining it, you do it a couple times and then you probably totally get it. I know. Look at all that bright light over there you got. What are you talking about? You are bright.
What he's saying is, go ahead and size your case or have your fired case. Now take your sized case, go to the bottom of the lock nut and the bottom of the die. And let's say on your fired case, for ease of the math, because he really made some complicated math there, measure your case comparator says it needs to be 2 inches. Your sized case is 2.05. So take the top of the calipers and the bottom finger of the caliper to the bottom of the die. Now, run the die in 5 to 7 thousandths, and you should be where you need to be.
Yeah, with the lock ring.
That's what you're measuring off of is the lock ring. So just move the lock ring, and that's going to move the die, right? Makes sense.
Yeah, move the lock ring up the die, and it'll go further down into the press.
Right.
And make your case shorter.
You get a deeper bump. So if you need to back it up, you run the lock ring down the die.
Right.
Yeah, it's. I think he blew everybody away with all the 2.1732.
I was just trying to make. I'm sorry. I was just trying to do quick math where you could see where you needed to take off 3 thousandths.
Yeah, I picked up what you was putting down, but I think a couple of people didn't. So, and it makes total sense. It makes better sense than ruining 5 pieces of brass because you went the wrong way or whatever. So, or you just really massively overwork some brass.
Ooh, yeah, been there, done that.
Russ, do you anneal? I'm sure you do, don't you?
Every firing.
Wow.
Somebody made a point earlier when I was talking about my 9mm, and I don't know if they heard me say I would not anneal any pistol brass. I don't.
No.
I wouldn't think it'd be worth it at all. Be a waste of propane.
Well,
But
only I would entertain a kneeling would be something like 500 Smith and Wesson, your longer pistol,
right,
and it'd be right on the end.
right. Hey, so you know what, Tread, and I seen your comment earlier. You said you've been subscribed, but he had some. He just let me tell you, I went and watched my first video like on YouTube, and it sucked. My dialogue, and it still. I just did a video today. It sucked. You know, it was a mail call video, and I critique myself all the time. So I know how it is starting out with videos, and so that's probably what it was. I'm not saying that's what it was, but that's probably what it was. But Tread makes a good point. He said it would make more sense in a video, and he added Rust. So he's talking about setting up that die. So,
Yeah.
Well, there
so
you
hang
go.
on, Tread. He might have one for you.
I can tell you where to go watch the video that I learned that from. Eric Cortina.
Yep.
Is that Eric with a K or a C? Or both?
With a K.
Eric Cortina is with a C.
But it's EK. Ain't it EK?
Yeah. ERIK.
Yeah.
CORTINA.
Yep, that's where I seen it at.
I actually saw it or did it years ago, but he has the most up to date, and he don't talk like a Bubba like I do, and he's a little easier to understand.
Hey, you leave us Bubbas out of this.
Hey,
No,
when I
man.
hear Bubba talk, I'll be thinking, them boys right there, you know what they talking about. or either it's gonna be a fun time.
And I think a lot of the people in the side chat just show up to hear us talk.
Well,
I'm country's cornbread.
I know that's right. And I was just going to try to say that I understand Russ better than I understand Eric Cortina. Just saying. So we're getting down to about 10 minutes left. Chico, you want to go through the room? We'll start doing outros and.
Yeah, I definitely will. You want me to run through the side chat?
Please, sir.
I can do that. Let's see. Go back to the top and go down. Very first one at the last live, it says Paul Loud. We got Rebel out there, John's hand loaded, Jerry 1911. I had to make sure I was still off mute. Jerry 1911, Jag 1, Tread, Max Ripley, William C. Chaplin's out there, Reloader 762, West Covina Dodge, Big Man's Outdoors, Big E's out there, Paul Loud. It's got to be a better way to do this. Jerry 1911 again, William C. Chaplin. Russ is on the panel with us. Signal Soldier 31's out there. 6-shooter Texan. Uncle John, Uncle Jim. Let's see. Now I got to do the participants list because it didn't do right like I thought it wanted to. All right. John's hand loading, Paul Loud, Signal Soldier 31. That's it. So something must be going on. William C. Chaplin, Uncle John, Uncle Jim, Tread, Big Man's Outdoors, Rebel, and that is all mine is showing. But you know, YouTube plays around sometimes with the sometimes they play around with the comments, so I don't know. So everyone, thanks for joining us for another Friday Night Georgia Shooting Connection. I hope someone took away something from this. Like the Christmas tree, Uncle Jim. What am I going to do? Unfortunately, I might not do no shooting this weekend because I've got a buddy who started this homeless, keeping the homeless warm, and we are doing that tomorrow. So we took up a lot of donations. No money, just clothes. People who had old coats and blankets, and we are going, I think, downtown Atlanta tomorrow, and we are going to go to those hot spots that a lot of the homeless, like if y'all ever been in Atlanta, we got a lot of homeless that's up under our bridges, like 285, 75. They do not get to go to those, say those homeless shelters because it's a first come, first served basis. A lot of them are in wheelchairs. I think 8% of the homeless population in the world are military veterans. So they may not have access. You know, they cannot walk to that place. So my buddy, his late mom did that every year, and she passed 2 years ago. And he wanted this year. He was like, I want to do that. So I was like, I'm with you. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. So I can't shoot all the time, even though I like to. So I'm kind of doing something. I don't want to say outside of my normal stuff. Just being thankful, especially right now. It's cold and the holidays are approaching, and so try to help out. And that's it for me. Sharenda, what are your plans? Are you going hunting?
No, that's next week. I'm gonna try to go bust some clays Sunday, and I gotta go get a tramp stamp for my shotgun.
Oh, I was gonna say what?
Yeah, no, not for me. Gun, because my gun is customized to me, but it's one you can go buy at the store. So when I'm on league, I want to glance and know that that's mine and not somebody else's. Also, there's a couple of ladies that got new pistols this month. They asked me if I would go to the range with them for their first shots, and we already did gun safety and all that stuff separately. So I'm gonna go do that Sunday, and then I'm preparing for women's disabled veteran doe hunt. First weekend, what is that? New Year's Day weekend. We have 4 disabled female veterans coming to do a doe hunt with us, and we're hosting them. So we're paying for their hotel, their food, their hunting tags and license. So that's our gift to them, and I think we're working on some swag. I'm hoping we get some nice swag to give them. That's it. Just plotting on taking over the hunting world in 2021 and breaking this new shotgun I got.
Very cool.
Nice. What you working on, Russ?
I'm gonna work on this 6.5 Creedmoor. I got my base bedded to the action. I got my rings lapped and bedded to the tube, and so tomorrow I'm gonna start. I've got 3 powders. I'm gonna work up test loads. I still go by the old OCW method. I can't get into Satterley method yet. I just don't. I don't want to grasp that yet. But got my first batch sitting here ready to go. Get them loaded up and put in the boxes.
Yeah, I do 5-shot groups pretty much in half grain increments and then go from there.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not smart enough to do the Satterley thing. Anyway, what's going on, Kyle?
Like I say, I got that happy birthday video that me and Mike are going to get together and make. That's pretty much going to take up most of my free time over the weekend. I'm going to try to get some leaves chewed up before it starts raining. Try to miss that pothole that I hit last weekend in the front yard that made me have to crawl off the lawnmower and crawl up the front yard. Yeah, my back's been jacked up and I've been chiropractoring it and all that. That's why I took a little hiatus there earlier in the chat. I had to go put some cream on. I may get around to some reloading. I need to get around to cleaning off my dang bench. That thing it's a hot mess. But yeah, we're gonna focus on that birthday video because we got to get it down and get it uploaded and all that stuff and send it over to his wife for her approval. And that's what I got coming up, and the rest of it is just living life day by day, waiting on payday.
I hear you, man. Well, I've got loads loaded up for 350 Legend, 7.62 by .4R, 8mm Mauser, and now 6.5 Creedmoor. So I've got loads loaded up to do a whole bunch of load development testing and range films. But oh man, I keep waiting for our neighbor to take me down. We may have a range here within walking distance of my house to go out to 150 yards. So if we do, Chico, you and Kyle got to come up and we'll have some fun. So
I got some steel.
It's just out in the woods, just an opening, and there's a hill there for a backstop and all that. And we can. My next door neighbor said he bought the place for people to come visit and enjoy. So he's a shooter, a hunter, and all that. So I'm looking forward to getting to know him better and helping him set up a range and have you guys up and have some fun. We just got to be very careful, and we always are. So
Absolutely.
all right, guys, we're going to get off of here. Y'all check us out on
You said it earlier. Come on, man.
Instagram. I said, please check us out on Georgia Shooting Connection on Instagram. If you need us, you can call us at send us an email at georgiashootingconnection@gmail.com. Of course, we got the Georgia Shooting Connection YouTube channel as well as all of our individual channels. So we're in touch. Y'all be in touch. Don't be a stranger. We hope God blesses y'all real good. We got 2 weeks coming up till Christmas, so make sure you get all your lists checked twice and be nice, not naughty. So
Except
God
on your
bless
That
birthday.
knocks
y'all.
me off the list.
Except on your birthday.
Happy birthday to Sharinda. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see y'all next Friday night, Lord willing. Y'all say goodbye, y'all.
Night, everyone.
Good night.